Hey everyone, TB Shores. It's May the 20th. I wanted to get back to you with some videos. I'm sorry it's taken me so long. I had a cold and something going on with my throat to where doing videos would have been nothing but a coughing session. So I decided to wait until I could get through it without coughing so much. But I want to point out a couple of things about the eye, and then we're going to learn some new things about the eye in the next few videos coming up. Now, you remember we had looked at these eyes in the subway, the underground, which is all about things hidden, things secret, things concealed. What I want to point out about this is we had talked about the 300 eyes like we see here these are made out of mosaic tile, which is all about the reflection of light. But they are designed from pictures of 300 different individuals' eyes, human eyes, from photographs. This holds a great significance. I've not had time to dig into it as well as I would like to because I have to keep moving forward and not linger on one topic. But the thing here is we've got 300 eyes throughout this subway system in the underground. And we also know that there were only 300 people identified from the remains of the World Trade Center 9/11 incident. And I had a couple of subscribers send me information, a link actually, to information about what is known as Illuminati Committee of 300. So, there's no mistake in the connection here. I don't have time to dig into it, but I'm sure that if you look into this a little deeper on your own and ask the Lord's guidance, you can find what's out there to be seen on this. But I wanted to bring that to your attention because it's all about the significance of the eye, the use of the eye in the occult, okay? I'm going to just point out some highlights on this video of what we're going to be looking at and where it's going to be taking us. We may actually leave here before I get done, which that'll be all right too. But let's see. Remember, we had this connection as well. You can look at this and clearly see the connection with the eye and our money and how it goes back to ancient Egypt. If you look up Eye of Horus, ancient Egypt, you will be able to come up with loads of information that just takes you down one rabbit hole after another. There's just so much stuff out there. Like I said, I can't linger on any one thing. The Lord wants me keeping this moving forward. We're just connecting dots here. The depth of it, you're going to have to get into yourself, but I think you'll find it quite interesting. But we got the connection with the subway, the underground, and of course that mosaic glass floor, and our dollar and CERN, as we see the eye shape in the middle, and as I pointed out before, the circular sun shape, the crescent moon shape, and it also has the eclipse. It has the 666. And there's something new come into that picture that I'm not going to get into at the moment, but it has to do with this right here and how this circle looks like it's pushing on something here, or pushing its way through, or bending something, and we'll talk about that later. But just be mindful. We've got these occult symbols all within this. Okay, here is another picture. This is about where we're going next. And it's all about, let's see if I can pull something up here. It's all about this right here. And this is the World Trade Center Transportation Hub. And I just realized I'm not doing this full screen. I apologize. But it's all about the World Trade Center Transportation Hub and what lies within that and what we can find deep within it. Right here you can see that the place where it actually lies is also the similar eye shape. Let me back that off. But there's some interesting facts here I want to point out. It says, in addition, this is up here, in addition, the station is designed to connect the path. I want you to look at that. To connect the path. Now, that's another mimicking of Scripture and mimicking of Christ, because we know Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And path is mimicking the way. I'm just going to throw that out there just briefly at the moment. But I'm sure that those of you who know Scriptures, who are aware of what we're covering here, you see the connection there. This outer mezzanine is also called, right there it is, called oculus. You see this? So there's connection here. And that's what I'm trying to point out right now, and we'll dig into that a little deeper. But that's where we're going next, is with this outer construction and how it is called the oculus and how it connects back to everything. There's a few things I want to point out. It's very interesting here. It says, not only is it designed to connect the path, P-A-T-H in capital letters, which is mimicking the way, as we see in Scriptures, that Christ is the way. It also says a large transit station, am I reading the right? Yes, was not part of the 2003 Memory Foundation's master plan for the site by Daniel Lebeskid. I'm not sure how to say his name, which called for a smaller station along the lines of the original subterranean station that existed beneath the World Trade Center. Lebeskid's design called for the oculus space to be left open, forming a wedge of light so that sun rays around the autumnal equinox would hit the World Trade Center footprints each September. In early 2004, the Port Authority, that's something else you might want to look into, the Port Authority, and find some interesting things on those, which owns the land, modified the Lebeskid plan to include a large transportation station downtown intended to rival Penn Station and Grand Central Terminal. In a nod to the Lebeskid concept, the oculus will be at an angle to maximize the effect of the autumnal equinox rays. Okay, for those of you who are not familiar, the autumnal equinox is the time at which daytime and nighttime are of equal portions. So light and dark are equal on that day for the same amount of time. I would say in the spiritual realm, that is symbolic of something significant for the enemy. And that's why they point that out. Another thing or two I want to point out here is we see, let's see, where's it at? Right here. That they have plans to open a limited pedestrian traffic to this oculus in June of this year. And it also says progress at ground zero was once measured in years. This spring and summer promise one milestone after the next, sometimes separated only by days. So they got some big plan with this summer, this spring and summer, that is going to escalate quickly by that statement right there. And I think we can see that it is connected with the Illuminati. It is connected with the occult. We can see that it is connected with the future plans of the Babylonian system, which is what the Antichrist will be working from once he takes place. One world, just one world system. We see a proclamation of that. If I can find it, I think I had that pulled up as well. I wanted to point out, I think it's right here. Back in, let me see here. It says, soon after the September 11 attacks, Mayor Giuliani, Governor George Pataki, and President George W. Bush vowed to rebuild the World Trade Center site. On the day of the attacks, Giuliani proclaimed, "We will rebuild. We're going to come out of this stronger than before." And here is all about them, how would you say, strengthening and fortifying the Babylonian system. It says, we're going to come out of this stronger than before, politically stronger and economically stronger. That is all about world government and world financial. Okay? I'm sure that there are many of you that grab that as quick as I say it, but trust me, these words were about proclaiming coming back stronger in this one world government. And that takes me back to the purpose of the destruction of the Twin Towers. You know, in my earlier videos, we talked about how the Twin Towers were Satan proclaiming his equality to God. The taking them down was a sacrifice, and we talked about what all that represented. A sacrifice, Satan sacrificing what he had created, only so he could proclaim by a new creation to exalt himself above God. And that's what is going on with this new tower, and it being 1,776 feet tall. It's about him proclaiming from the beginning, 1776 was the year that our country was born as a nation under God. And it's about him exalting himself and proclaiming, setting claim to the country, even back to that point. So, I'm trying to think if there's anything. Oh, yes, I want to show you some more pictures I had up here. This is the inside of the big white oculus that I showed you, the big white mezzanine. Again, we see the clear design of the eye shape within it. And this is the outside. And from this angle, hopefully you can see what I'm trying to point out here. It's as if we've got eyelashes on the outside of it. Now, in some things, they describe that as wings. And some even describe it as some type of monstrous dinosaur shape. But referring to it like a shape of a beast. I even have, and I'll get to that later, where it's referred to as rising out of the pit. Of course, that goes back to scripture as well. All right, when we talk about the eye, we got to get back to this rascal. Shiva. Okay, we know that Shiva, we see his statue outside of the CERN laboratory facility. And it's all about this third eye. He's got a third eye right here. And we're going to get into what that means. And medically, how that can be manipulated and how it can affect us. But as you can see, he's got symbolism of the Trinity over here with the trident, the serpent around his neck. He's got the crescent moon up here on his head. He's got the third eye on his forehead. And as you can see with the way he's holding his hands, we get the 666 symbol. Of course, this is all about meditation, the position he's in here. And meditation actually affects what is known as the pineal gland, which is known as the third eye, which gives you a false sense of spirituality. So all these things are connected. I just wanted to throw some of this out there so you could see where we're headed. And I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.